folks. So I'm Kristen Evans. I'm the executive managing director of the Gershman Philadelphia Jewish Film Festival. If we not met face to face, it's nice to digitally meet you. For those of you out there that are diehard festival goers, a big hello and a few air hugs, because we miss you folks something fierce, and we just cannot wait to get back to having an audience and watching films and experiencing these stories together. So for the foreseeable future, the GPJFF staff, including myself, has taken on a bit of a fun project. We want to make sure that you in your homes, through your screens, are connecting with us in our homes. So welcome to my home, in my oh so not formal living room. So it's my pleasure to be your Take Me Back Tuesday host, where I get to explore Jewish and Jewish characters, films, themes, all this fun stuff. So, dissecting the word Jewish, I'm taking some creative liberties here with the ish, all right? Now, at the film festival, we struggle with, from time to time, what actually makes it a Jewish film. Is it a Jewish film because there's a Jewish actor, a character, a value, a theme? What actually makes it a Jewish film? And, it's not quite as obvious as you would think. And here, because we are in my living room, I feel like I can have some creative freedom here to explore the ish, if we want to, all right? So I'm giving you a forewarning that some of the films that we'll be talking about will be explicitly Jewish. They will have hands down Jewish characters, Jewish themes, done, okay? And there are other films where, that line's really gray. And I am very happy to explore the ish part about what makes the film Jewish. And I guess as a small little caveat to all of this is that I will be adding some personal addition to the discussion, whether it's showing you something from my personal collection, sharing a recipe, exploring a fashion look, just something that's a little bit extra and fun tied to this film and to my connection to the character or to the film. So let's get started. So I figure for the first Take Me Back Tuesday, it would be appropriate to share with you one of my firsts. And I'm not going to share with you my first film that I ever saw or remember seeing in a movie theater. I'm actually going to share with you the first film that I saw at a drive-in. And for the record, it was circa 1985, and I was a small human at that time. So go ahead, calculate, try and figure out how old I am. But the Take Me Back Tuesday film is... It's the Goonies. See, I was tricking you guys. My shirt was on backwards. I didn't want to give you the upper hand in figuring out what the film was before I actually got to unveil the film. And I'm always so surprised when I talk about the Goonies and people are like, I've never seen that film, Kristen. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if we can be friends. There's an opportunity where you can change that. So if you haven't seen it, I'm encouraging you during quarantine time to watch the Goonies. Now, if you haven't watched it, then you're probably like, I don't know what the Goonies is about. So I'm going to give you a quick plot summary. Not very thorough, but quick enough, okay? And it's on you to do the homework and watch the film. So the Goonies, it's about a group of kids who go on an adventure attempting to locate a long-lost buried treasure, One-Eyed Willie's treasure, in the hopes of paying off a group of real estate developers who have their eyes set on their homes. Now, their homes are located in the Goondock section of Oregon, hence the name, the Goonies. But their homes are set for demolition. And this is their one last Goonies weekend to turn it all around. Now, they find a treasure map in Michael and Brandon Walsh's attic. Now, my attic does not have a treasure map or half of the amazing things that are in the Walsh's attic, but this is my attic.
What are you doing? Hey, Mike found the map. Yeah. Hey, look. That says 1632.
Yeah, so my Rocky Road fudge and we can hear it already on the interwebs. Kristen, Goonies is not a Jewish film. And I reply, after a chill. Are you sure about that? Are you sure? All right. So I'm just gonna take a really quick moment. Let's go through this, all right? Let's start with pedigree. Let's start with the Hollywood parents of the Goonies, all right? The film's executive producer, Steven Spielberg. The producer was Harvey Bernhard, and the director was Richard Donner. All right, in case you were wondering, Richard Donner was not born with that name. He was born Richard Donald Schwartzberg. Jewish. The second thing, okay, in most movies, the bad guys, gals, they can have a crazy, sinister laugh and they want to take over the world or they want to do something super destructive. And in the Goonies, the bad guys are real estate developers who are trying to foreclose on the small community's homes to further an expansion of a country club, okay? So only in a Jewish film would the kids be fighting super rich real estate developers to save their community. Jewish. And third, the Goonies decide that the only way that they can save their homes from those evil real estate developers is to go hunting for One-Eyed Willie's treasure. In other words, they're going on a fundraising trip, okay? How many Jewish institutions have done this? Shuls, day schools, other types of nonprofits. You know, when they're in trouble, what do? We go on a field trip to One-Eyed Willie's house in the hopes that we will get a substantial donation to save us. Jewish. Number 4. The Goonies, they're stuck underground and they just barely escaped getting killed by one of One-Eyed Willie's booby traps. They happen to stumble across a wishing well the underneath part of a wishing well. And they think that they've actually reached the treasure, but they didn't, all right? But as they're making the noise below, Troy, one of the country club sons, who's rather annoying throughout this film, he has a crush on one of the girls that's with the Goonies below. And he's willing to go ahead and pull them up. But Mikey gives this inspirational speech about how it's their time and how they need to continue on this quest and save the day and to save their homes. And so the group, they decide to keep wandering. So, and if there's one thing that Jews know, it's wandering.
Time. Up there. Down here, it's our time. It's our time down here. That's all over the second we ride up Troy's bucket.
And number 5. I could keep going past 5, but I will stop at 5. But 5 actually is my favorite. He is the most wonderful character in this film. And 10 gold stars if you actually know his full name. And if you don't, doesn't matter because I'm going to tell you right now anyway. But it's Lawrence Chunk Cohen. Chunk, he is the round, lovable neighbor that is forced to do this, let's just call it a dance, okay? It's called the Truffle Shuffle. It's not really a dance. It's not really a shuffle. But he's got to do it to get inside his friend's house. So if you've never seen it, this is the Truffle Shuffle.
Come on! Do it! Come on! Do it! Cut it out, Mom.
So there's a part in the film where Chunk gets caught by the crime family, the Fratellis. And what does any good Jewish boy do in a life-threatening circumstance? He davens in Hebrew.
What seems to be the problem?
Look, mister, I need a ride. My friends and I just had a run-in with these really disgusting people. You might have heard of them, the Fratellis. Well, we found their hideout. And could you please take me to the sheriff's station? I can describe all three of them.
Bimba dagli occhi vieni da Maria.
And probably one of the more funny parts of, actually the whole film is funny. I don't know why I just said that. But there's an unforgettable part where Chunk is being threatened by the Fratellis and they tell him to spill everything, like just spill the beans. And he starts that he took his Uncle Mac's toupee and glued it on his face when he played Moses in his Hebrew school play. I love this full confession. I love the sound effects. And for those of you that needed an explicit reference to a Jewish character, here you go. Chunk clearly is Jewish and has a lot to confess.
Grade, I stole my Uncle Mac's toupee and I glued it on my face when I played Moses in my Hebrew school play. In 5th grade, I knocked my sister Edie down the stairs and I blamed it on the dog at home. And then I went to this movie theater, hid the puke in my jacket, climbed up to the balcony, and then I made a noise like this.
So the actor that played Lawrence Chunk Cohen, the actor's name was actually Jeff Cohen. And Jeff Cohen, he retired from acting and he went to law school, and he is actually now a very successful entertainment lawyer in Los Angeles. So that all around Jewish. And as I promised, I'm going to share with you some of the things that are actually from my Goonies collection. Now, I really don't consider myself like a crazy collector, and so I only have a few pieces, but what I do, I really, really love. All right, so first thing on Kristen's collection are these. I have two. Very nice Goonies glasses. And here's my second one. We have to be very, very, very careful. You know why? Because in my house, you know, just like I have my grandmother's china, okay, and it's put in a very special place and only brought out for special occasions, the same goes for my Goonies glasses. You know that you are trusted and very much liked if I offer you a drink in my Goonies glass. The next little Goonies collectible is this lovely skull key. Very nice. Kind of like do my eye. This is what you get when you do things alone. Anyway, I love this. And if you haven't seen the film, you should watch it so you know exactly what to do with a skull key. But otherwise, I love it. And it's beautiful. And probably one of my most random pieces in any of the genre of collecting that I have is this. Yeah, it's a piece of wood. Guess where this wood came from? Look, it even has like an official number and stuff. So this piece of wood, it's actually being called a Goonies prop. But really, it was from the deck of the Walsh's house. So when you see those kids running around the house on the deck, I have a piece of it. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe Chunk maybe Mikey, Dad, I don't know. Maybe one of them stepped on it, right? And you're like, Kristen, how do you know that it really came from the Goonies house? Well, that's why they gave me this. See? Authentic. And there's a signature. I don't know whose signature it is, but it was supposed to make me feel really good that I did just not buy some crazy piece of wood that has no relation to the Goonies. So, Goonies wood. So the final thing that I'm going to share with you is not really a physical collection item, although it's going to be a visual representation of a memory. I very often go to horror conventions, and my son typically comes with me. And at one of them, their special guest was Sean Astin. And rarely do I get starstruck. But when I got in front of him, it's like a real life Goonie was in front of me, and I couldn't speak. So my son, who I believe was like maybe 7 at the time, he did all the talking for me about how he loved the movie and how he was just so great. My son did a really good job, but here we go. There's the picture. There we are. There's me. There's Sean. And there's my little Dill. I call him Dilby, but don't tell him I told you that I call him Dilby. So I'm going to leave you with that, and stay safe, stay healthy. And remember, if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. And I will see you next Tuesday.